Hello and welcome to FinextraTV. I'm Liam Xavier and you join us here at EBAday 2026 in Copenhagen. With me right now is Tapan, who is Head of Payment Solutions, and KS, who is President and Head Europe and CIS Markets, both from Intellect Design. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
KS, if I can start with you. We've seen AI everywhere. It's a big topic here at EBAday. Do you think it's an overhyped myth or a bubble, or is it a reality? What are you seeing with your interactions with banks?
Well, actually, it is an absolute reality. We've come a long way over the last 2 years, and where the banks have started moving away from pilot-grade, proof-of-concept-oriented AI projects, and they're thinking actually at production at scale. How can I use AI at scale within the confines of the EU Act, the EU AI Act? They're basically concerned about safety. But if you look at the banks historically in the last 10 years, they were in a reactive loop. So they used to have dashboards, and from dashboards they started leveraging RPA agents to solve some of these problems. But when XML format started changing and the ISO format started changing, the things have started using, the banks have started to use agentic AI, which means the ability for different agents to come together to carry out a particular task. What is myth, however, though, is that AI is not replacing a system. So the ability of a system to interact with a layer of AI capabilities is what is driving cost efficiency and higher output for the banks, and a lot more productivity when it comes to the employees of the bank.
And Tapan, if we're talking about payment operations, it's a sensitive area. So we really want to see where the sort of evidence is and where things are working. What use cases have you seen where it's saying, okay, this is actually a good thing?
Yeah, Liam, very good question, because when it comes to payments, operations is a very critical area. An operational staff in a bank, they have three primary concerns. One is a payment should leave before the cutoff, right? They don't want to miss a cutoff. The second is when the payment leaves the bank, it should leave with proper data without any anomalies. And the third is payment tracking, right? So the first one, which is ensuring the payment leaves before the cutoff, again, AI has a big role to play because different currencies have different cutoff and transactions might get stuck in particular queues for different reasons. And with the volume of payments, digital payments skyrocketing in the industry, banks cannot have an army of people looking at those payments. This is where AI expert agents can come into the play and actually help resolve some of these issues, right? The second area is remediating transactions stuck in repair queues, right? So a payments digital expert backed by AI can actually repair payments. If there is insufficient liquidity to release a payment, it can proactively alert the treasury team to ensure that the settlement account is funded, right? Similarly, if transactions are getting stuck in queues because of invalid data, like unstructured address to structured address, which is a key requirement of the HVPS rails and SWIFT, AI can actually convert unstructured address to structured address, right? And the third area is payments tracking for operations. So using generative AI in simple natural language, ops users can say, where is my payment, where is my money, and the expert agent can look at various queues, various systems, and produce a summary of where the payment is stuck. So definitely tremendous use cases in payments for operations. And I think in one of the panels yesterday, a BNY Mellon speaker on AI, he said that in production they have thousands of payments being remediated by digital experts every week.
And KS, we've discussed it's more than just what it used to be. It's agents, there's a lot of automation. There's an important use of security there. So what are some of the risks and what are the important guardrails to have in place?
The way I look at this is it's like a human mind. Human mind needs to be conditioned. It needs to be told to channelize its energy and thoughts in a particular direction to make sure that the outcome is as expected. If you were to apply the same analogy to an AI needs to be told. Otherwise, it becomes a very risky proposition. It can go rogue, for instance, right? So the ability for an AI to act in a manner that a human mind operates, and that's what the agentic AI is about, the ability to carry out a certain transactions the way human beings would like to carry out those transactions. What it really calls for is for the banks to have what we call as the importance of having a knowledge garden. The ability of for the bank to have a knowledge garden where they can use all the structured and the unstructured data to make sure that, there are three elements that banks need to apply. There is this element of knowledge, how to extract knowledge from this knowledge garden, the ability to reason out, and then we're talking about the context. So it is knowledge, reasoning, context. Really think about it. If each of these were to be assigned, let's say they were operating at 90%, just 90% efficiency, then we are actually talking about an output of an accuracy factor of close to 72%, which means that the ability for knowledge, reasoning, and context to move to a higher levels is what will probably enable the banks to make sure that the risks are lower by using the AI. Point number one. Point number two is also the fact that if we moved away from hallucinations to a few other things in terms of when we are talking in terms of scaling AI in the banks, then there are guardrails as prescribed. You got to be compliant by DORA, you got to be compliant into the EU AI Act, and more importantly, it's no longer a black box. You cannot operate a black box where there is no visibility to what's going on. So having said that, guardrails are important, and that's the focus that the banks are currently. It's no longer about figuring out whether AI is going to work or not. It's proven that AI is going to be a great force multiplier for the banks. It is about making sure that they are safe.
And KS was saying there about scaling and keep going. So where else is it being used? Is it being used within revenue maximization, for example, through data?
Yes, Liam. One of the things we are seeing in the industry is that this whole wave of ISO 20022 modernization has happened, right? And ISO 20022 carries with it a lot of structured remittance information, data like invoice numbers, invoice amounts, discount amounts, invoice due dates, tax amounts, garnishment amount, right? All of this data was not available in the earlier payment messages. Now, using generative AI, and banks are sitting on this goldmine of data, they can actually mine this data to generate insights for next best offer, next best action. So take an example, right? By looking at payment data in an ISO message, you can now say that this payment was made well up 30 days before the invoice due date, right? And if a client is consistently making payments 30 days before the due date and paying the full amount, that means the client has surplus liquidity. The bank could cross-sell an investment product or a liability product to the client. On the other hand, if a client is consistently making payments 30 days after the due date and paying only partially, it means that the client needs working capital financing, right? You could sell a receivables finance product to the client, right? So there's a lot of opportunity to mine the data and to triangulate the data that's coming in the payment message with other sources of data, right, which could be publicly available, like volumes of the client are dropping, or the value of payments is going up, or the client has suddenly started making a lot of cross-border payments, which means you could sell an FX service to the client. So there's a lot of opportunity to use AI to mine payments data and generate revenue for the bank and value for the clients.
Interesting. So a lot said there, and lots to look forward to in the future to see where it goes. So thanks for joining the studio.
Thank you very much for having us here.
Liam.
Thank you.